She's the author of the popular book Claim Your Confidence and podcast host of the same name. Lydia Fenet is known as the world's leading charity auctioneer, and today she's telling us how she rose to the top in a male-dominated industry. Plus, she's sharing her tips for gaining confidence and commanding a room. This is Advocate Now. Well, Lydia, you have raised over $1 billion for nonprofits, and you've been named the world's leading charity auctioneer by the Today Show. So take us back to the beginning. How did you first get into auctioneering?
Well, I started working at Christie's Auction House during college. I read an article in Vanity Fair magazine about Princess Diana's dresses being sold at this place on Park Avenue in New York City called Christie's Auction House, and I became completely obsessed with the world. So about 4 years after I arrived, they opened up auctioneering tryouts to the entire company. And I'd seen charity auctioneers at work because I worked in the events department. So we would accompany them to watch them at big galas around the city. And it all seemed so glamorous and fun. And I just, the whole time, I can't even tell you how many times I thought to myself, God, I just want to be on that stage. And 4 years in, I tried out, and I was one of the last people standing at the end of the tryouts. And that was really where it began. And I've been doing it now for over 20 years. I do about 70 auctions a year. So I like to say I have my 10,000 hours firmly in my pocket, and it's nothing but fun now. I really love nothing more than being on stage.
That's so amazing. And you have broken so many barriers for women, as auctions obviously are predominantly led by men. So what initially gave you the confidence to enter this space?
I always have loved challenge. And I think that the auctioneering itself to me seemed like a challenge. And I fully understood that I didn't look like anybody else there. So at the beginning, I really tried to do everything I could to stay in a box so that people felt like I was worthy of being on stage, even though I wasn't a man. And then after having done it so much, I realized that at some point you become an expert in what you do. And when I became an expert, it was around the same time that this evolution occurred. I think it was probably because I was moving into my 30s, where I realized that in order for me to be truly good at something, I had to show up as myself. And so gone were the black suits where I was trying to fit in. I was wearing sparkles and dresses and all the things that felt like me. And once I felt like me on stage, it was kind of like there was no stopping me at that point. So that confidence just bred more confidence because, as success goes, the more successful you are, the more confident you become over time and willing to push yourself harder and harder and harder.
Yeah, when you think of some of the hardships that you've had to overcome, what comes to mind?
The early days were, honestly, I could write a story about the things that were said to me. I would walk in and people would say something like, well, where's the auctioneer? And I would say, well, I'm the auctioneer. And they're like, no, but the real auctioneer, the person who's going to get on stage, not the person spotting in the background. And so it was always about me having to confront what other people thought I should look like and what I should be. And could I handle the crowd? That was something I heard a lot. But, we have 900 people. Do you think you're going to be able to handle the crowd? Whereas I would think to myself, but the person who took it last year only takes 2 auctions a year. Why is he better equipped to handle the crowd? So I realized over time, I just had to get up there and prove myself. And once I would stand on that stage and prove I could do it, there was no one who could say anything except, we hope you come back next year.
Yeah, exactly. And you've shared much of your insight and knowledge through your books, The Most Powerful Woman in the Room Is You and Claim Your Confidence. You also have a podcast called Claim Your Confidence. What would you say are some key factors in becoming a confident and empowered woman?
You have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. You're not going to be confident and successful if you stay within a tiny, cozy area doing the only thing you know how to do and never pushing yourself. It's so counterintuitive. I teach public speaking, and I always say to people, what is going to make you a better public speaker? And everyone begrudgingly says, by speaking more in public. Right. But it's not that you want to do it. You have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone to do it. So try something new. If you fail, let it go. If it succeeds, look at that. Maybe you try something else. So that's really where confidence comes from. And stop looking around for a gold star from everyone. Confidence comes from within. It's an inside job. It has nothing to do with what anyone else thinks that you're doing. It's if you think you're doing a good job. So listen to yourself and you'll become more confident.
You can really feel the energy of someone who is incredibly confident. I mean, true confidence radiates from people. So do you have any tips or practices you can share for building confidence?
Absolutely. The easiest thing, just from a physical standpoint, is to think about the way that you are showing up in this world. A confident person doesn't slump into a room and hide in a corner. A confident person comes in with all the energy of Pat Sajak on the Wheel of Fortune. They're coming in big, they're coming in strong. It's Vanna White. She's showing up to do her job. Like, that is what confidence looks like. And again, so many things that I write about in the books I've learned on stage. If I walk into a stage at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, after everybody there has been sitting there for 2 hours, they're tired. And if I match that energy by slumping on stage and being quiet and not bringing a lot of energy, that's what I'm going to get back from the crowd. If I show up with all the energy in the world, like I am excited to be there and I'm excited to be on that stage, I'll get that back from the audience. Same thing holds true in life. Doesn't matter where you go, be there, be present, and people will notice you. And that's how you become more confident, when people are looking at you because you are showing up as yourself.
That's such great advice. And now your book, The Most Powerful Woman in the Room Is You, is actually being adapted into a Netflix series with Kiernan Shipka as the lead. Yes. Anything that you can share with us on that? Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much. Well, it was kind of off to an exciting start, and then the writer's strike and the SAG strike happened. So we're just gearing back up. So I hope to be able to share more as we move along. Right now, I don't have that much to share because we're just kind of regrouping, and hopefully we'll move everything forward in 2024. But I'm thrilled about it. Could not be more excited.
Well, with such an impressive career, you are inspiring women all over the world. Is there one message in particular that you hope people take away from your work?
I hope that people look at me and realize that it doesn't matter what you do in your life. If you do it with commitment and you follow your passion, ultimately it will pay off. I worked for a corporation. I worked for Christie's Auction House for 24 years. It was a wonderful career, but I feel like I've never been as energized and passionate as I am about my life and my career now, where I'm running my own company. So I would say to people, you need to do the work. Don't ever think that you can skirt around that. That's not real life. You need to understand, you need to dig in. But once you do, follow your passion, follow the things that you're good at, and ultimately you will live a successful and happy life.
Absolutely. And so much of it has to do with self-worth as well. I believe in that, believing that you're worthy of those things that you're striving for, right?
Yes, absolutely, Sonia. I completely agree.
And you are currently recording the second season of your podcast. Tell us what we can expect from that.
Well, the fun part of the second season of Claim Your Confidence is that I'm going to be featuring one guy every month. The first entire season, 52 episodes of Claim Your Confidence for the first season, was all women, because I feel like women really need to hear more about confidence and also hear from other women about what happens over the course of a long career, how you can have confidence and lose it, build it back up. And those stories really articulated that point. But I have a really strong family dynamic. It's boy, girl of my childhood. And I came with a really strong father and mother figure in my life. And the one thing I'll say is that women don't have the corner on insecurity. And confidence comes and goes for all of us. And I've especially seen this in some of my really great guy friends, and I thought it would be fun to share their stories. So season 2 kicks off with the New York Rangers goalie, Henrik Lundqvist, who in New York City was known as the king for the better part of his career. And he found out about 15 years into his career that he was going to have an open heart surgery and would never play hockey again, literally overnight. And I know him, he's a friend of mine, and I want to tell that story and have everybody hear it from him, because it's really a masterclass in confidence, in sportsmanship, and also just showing up in your own life. So I'm really excited to start with that. And then I have some unbelievable guests coming on for season 2.
Well, we can't wait to check it out. Everyone, make sure you check out Lydia's podcast called Claim Your Confidence, and keep an eye out for the upcoming Netflix series inspired by her book. Lydia, thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
I'm Sonia Baghdadi. Thanks so much for watching and advocating. For more stories and content like this, just head to advocate.com or advocatechannel.com.